This Amazon KDP coloring book has made over $12,000. And how do I know this? Well, if you look at the reviews, and if we should go over to the verified purchase only, which means that the people who actually bought this book, you can see that it has over 1,000 plus verified purchases. And if we should multiply it by the price per each of this coloring book, that is over $12,000 in revenue. So we can see that people are actually buying this book. You can see it's a #1 bestseller, and the reviews are also great, which is an indication that this kind of coloring book is currently in demand. And in this tutorial, I will be showing you how you can create something similar but adding your own unique spin to it using the power of AI. So you do not need to be worried about having any form of design skills. I would also be sharing with you some tips that you can use to make your coloring book stand out and maximize your earning. So stick to the end of this video to get every bit of the value. Now let's get to it. So if you should look at my screen right now, you can see this is an adult coloring book for relaxation. And this coloring book is basically about patterns. And with that in mind, we want to decide our coloring book specification. So remember, we're taking inspiration from this particular book. And if we should scroll all the way down, you can see that for this particular coloring book, the dimensions are 8.5 by 11. The print length is 200 pages. And the book type is also paperback. So for our book specification, we'll be using a dimension of 8.5 by 11 inches. Our bleed settings will be with bleed. Our pages will be single-sided pages, meaning that at the back of each page is a blank page. Our page count to be 100 pages. However, this is just simply for the purpose of this tutorial. You may want to do more pages just so that you can get the same perceived value as this book, so that you can charge similar price like this coloring book. And our book cover is going to be paperback. The next step we want to do is want to head over to Amazon KDP Help Topics so that we can decide our page size and set our margins. Now, if we should go to Help Topics, we should go to Book Formatting and Format Your Paperback. We're going to click on Set Trim Size, Bleed, and Margin. We're going to go all the way to Bleed. Click this drop-down icon here and look for our dimension in this table. So our dimension is 8.5 by 11 inches. However, this is the page size we are meant to use if we are not going for bleed. So the corresponding page size with bleed will be this. This is for our bleed, and we're going to use this, impute into Canva to get our appropriate page size. So we can copy this, head over to Canva, click on the plus icon here, click on custom size, change the units to inches, impute the width, impute the height as well, and we're going to simply create a new design. So now that our design is ready, the next thing we want to do is we want to set our margins. And to do that, you can simply hold down the Shift button as well as R. You can see that these margins have popped up here. Alternatively, you can as well click on File, click on Settings, and click on Show Rulers and Guide. Again, we're going to go back to Amazon KDP Help Topics and scroll all the way down to Margins. Now, remember that our page count is 100 pages, which is simply for the purpose of this tutorial. And for our page count, you can see it falls under this first rule, which is 24 to 150 pages. And this will be our inside margin. This will be our outside margin. Remember, like I said, you may want to use more pages just for you to get more perceived value on your product. And if you are using up to like 200 pages, just like this coloring book, you can see 206 pages, then this will be your inside margin and this would be your outside margin. So I'm going to take this first one, which is 0.375, and we're going to go set it up in our page on Canva. So we're going to pull this over here. So you can see this is 0.382. You may not be able to get exactly 0.375 or exactly the margin number. However, you want to use something really closest to it, and it is better more than less. Again, we're going to go to the top and we're going to pull it down until we get something really close. We got 0.389 here as well. Now we need to do this for this edge here as well as the bottom part here. So to do this easily, we want to go to Elements, get a shape. We're going to pull the shape up and simply align the shape with this box here. So we can zoom that out until it aligns. Once it aligns exactly, we want to duplicate it and pull it over downwards here. Once we've done that, we're just going to bring this one up right here. And we're going to bring this one from the side right here. And once all that is said and done, we can simply go ahead and take this out. We're also going to simply go ahead and delete this as well. So now that our margin is set, our page size is set, what we want to do is we want to duplicate it to the number of pages that our interior page of our coloring book is meant to have. And for the purpose of this tutorial, that is 100 pages. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate it. And we're just going to click on this icon here and duplicate it until we get to 100 pages. You can also go to the grid icon, copy and duplicate multiple times till we get to 100 pages. So now we've done that. By the way, if you have watched up to this point, comment the word KDP in the comment section. I'd like to know that you've watched and you are following really closely. Now, the next step we are going to do is we want to start creating our coloring images. And just like I said earlier, we're going to be utilizing the power of AI. Now, we're going to head over to ChatGPT and we're going to start building our prompts. Now, I'm going to ask ChatGPT, are you familiar with the bestseller coloring book on Amazon, 100 Amazing Patterns, and an adult coloring book with fun, easy, and relaxing coloring pages? You can see that's the name of this book here. And ChatGPT has given us a response to say, yes, I'm familiar with it. The reason is because we want prompts that are similar to what can generate the kind of images in that coloring book. So it is very important that ChatGPT is in line. I'm going to go ahead again and tell ChatGPT, I would like to recreate the coloring book 100 Amazing Patterns, an adult coloring book with fun, easy, and relaxing coloring pages using AI. Could you give me the exact prompts I can input into AI to give me an exact replica of the same kind of coloring images? Now, the reason why I said an exact replica is because we want ChatGPT to be as precise with the prompt as possible so that when we feed it into this AI tool, the AI tool is able to generate something as good as the coloring images for that particular coloring book that we are taking inspiration from. And mind you, no matter the prompt ChatGPT gives us, it cannot give us exactly the same image that you see here. So you don't need to worry about that. And like I said, we are recreating, we're doing something similar. We are not just copying and pasting the exact same thing. And now ChatGPT has gone to give us the general prompt structure that we can use when feeding into AI to give us something as similar as possible. So now we're then going to say, give me 50 different variation of patterns using this exact prompt style. So you can see a 50 patterns variation to use. And this is the prompt template that we're going to be using. And each pattern idea, we're going to be replicating it with each of this. The next thing we're going to be doing is we are going to now start creating these coloring images. Now we're going to head over to this AI tool that would help us create coloring pages easily. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description. You want to go ahead, click that link and it will take you here. Now this AI tool is actually great. It has text to coloring image where you want to input your prompt and it is going to then build a coloring image for you. So we're going to go to ChatGPT. We're going to take the prompt template here, copy it, go to this AI tool, input it here, go back and take the first variation and put it here. Now, before we create our very first image, one way that you can stand out is by going back to this bestseller because people have actually bought this book. So you want to see what these customers are saying. You want to see what they love about this book and what they feel there is need for improvement with regards to this book. And you want to take these things and incorporate it into your own book. For example, we're going to go to like the 5 stars and we can see, oh, the coloring book, good size picture, great with gel pens, perfect designs. So they love the coloring image. However, we're also going to be going to the 4 stars and see where there's room for improvement. This person says most designs are pretty symmetric. So they do not want symmetric designs. This person stated the problem is the paper, This one also stated it's the paper. However, the paper is not something we can control, as Amazon KDP literally are the ones that do the printing, and there's no way or there's no setting from our end in Amazon KDP that we are able to change the paper type. However, later in this video, I'm going to be showing you what you can do with regards to that. We want to also go check other lower reviews, see what they have to say. This person says it's not for adults, that the pictures are very simple looks. This person also said it's not for adults, the pictures are pretty much basic. So that means that when it comes to adult coloring books, people are looking for much more complicated designs. And with that in mind, we're going to use that in creating our coloring images. So we're going to go back. We want to check our prompt. We don't want symmetric design, so we don't have anything like symmetric in our prompt. And we're going to click generate now. We're going to leave it at the prompt enhancer. Now for the difficulty level, remember I said some people like it a bit more complicated. This particular AI tool allows you to be able to choose the complexity of the coloring image that you want it to generate. So you can see that for toddlers, you can see that for children, you can see that for teenagers, you can see that for adults. So we want to settle for teenagers because it will also bring out complicated images, but this time all the intricate details will remain intact and there will be very little to no grayscale at all. So we're going to choose the dimension. Remember that dimension is 8.5 by 11, which is essentially more like a rectangle. So we're going to be choosing this one here. And we're going to generate the batch. Remember, this is AI, and I would always advise that you generate more than one images in a batch. This is just so that you can be able to have multiple options and be able to pick the one that is best for you. And even if you end up liking all of the images in the batch, you can as well use all of them because all the images will not be exactly the same thing. So I'm going to leave the generation batch at 3. We're going to choose high print quality and remove watermark. And we're going to click on generate. It's going to use up 3 credits. So you can see that this AI tool has given us some patterns that we can use. Like I said, you may want to play around with the prompt just so that the images that this AI tool gives you are cleaner, clearer, and with better outlines. Again, we're going to go back to ChatGPT and we're going to go input the next variation, which is floral mandala. We're going to go back to our AI tool. We're going to edit it. I ended up reforming the prompt just so that it gives something closest to what we want. I took this symmetrical out. And of course, I left it at teenagers. And we're going to go ahead again and generate. So now you can see that it has given us unique designs. And these are actually beautiful. You can click on this, download it to our system. We can also click on this, download it to our system. Again, we'll go to ChatGPT and we're going to copy the next pattern variation. We're going to go back to this AI tool and we are going to edit it here. Again, all other things remaining the same. We're going to go ahead and generate it. So this is actually okay. I'm going to download it. And this is how we're going to continue for each and every of the prompt variation. To save us time, I'm going to go continue and finish that off the camera. And we're going to go over to the next step. Remember, you want to make sure that you look at the images and ensure that it is completely defect-free before you impute it in your coloring book. So I finished going to create our coloring images and I've started adding them here. And you can see how beautiful they look. And this was all done because of this particular AI tool. This particular AI tool has free coloring images that you can actually use if you want to create like a simple coloring book. However, if you want to create a themed coloring book like the one we're doing right now, you would need to utilize the text to coloring page, which will allow you to give this AI tool a specific prompt and it will generate coloring images based on your prompt towards a particular theme. This AI tool also allows you to be able to turn your photo to coloring page if you have a colored photo that you want to turn into a coloring page. Also, this coloring tool also allows you to batch create or batch generate multiple at once, and as well also allows you to be able to do online coloring. At the end of this video, I'll be attaching another very explanatory video on how to create another kind of themed coloring page using this particular AI tool and how we leverage this online coloring inside our coloring book. It's super exciting. So aside from the free coloring page, to be able to access all of this, you need to be subscribed to the pricing plan. And with the pricing plan, you are able to generate up to 5,000 coloring pages per month. This is the yearly plan, and they have the monthly plan from the starter, hobby, professional up to the business plan. And of course, the higher the plan, the more the features. And this kind of AI tool will allow you to be able to create multiple coloring books in different themes very easily and be able to upload on Amazon KDP. Like I said, I'll be leaving the link in the description, so you want to click the link and go ahead and check that out. Now back to our interior pages. The first thing we want to do is we want to create a name page. So what we can do is we're going to go to the text icon here. We're going to click on heading, and we can simply edit this and say this book belongs to. We can change the font to this. We can change the color to white and make the effect have a black outline. So we're going to change the outline here to black, and we can increase the thickness depending on how we want it. We can also go ahead to improve the spacing and zoom that out so it's bolder. Again, what we can do is go to elements, go to lines, and select a line, put it under here, increase this, and this is looking perfect. You want to ensure that it is centralized. You can decide to add more things on top, below, depending if you want. And like I said earlier, this coloring book is a single-sided page, meaning after every page, there is a blank page. So we're going to be leaving the blank page, and we're going to go to the next page where we're going to start adding our coloring images. So we're going to go to one of the coloring images we created. We're going to add it. So I'm going to add this one. And what we want to do is we want to simply zoom it out to make it very bold. You want to make sure that your images do not go beyond the margins, because the margins is more like a borderline, indicating that after which your images risk being trimmed off. So now that we have it within a margin, what we want to do is we want to thicken this image. We want to make it much more clear, much more bold as possible. So we can go to edit, we can go to adjust, we can go to blacks, increase the blacks. You can see it's getting thicker and bolder. We can also reduce the highlights. You can see it has gotten much more thicker. We can also scroll down and increase the sharpness just to make it much more sharpened. Again, another thing we can do to really bolden it is we want to remove the background. Once we do that, we click on edit again. We go to shadows, we go to outline, and we're going to reduce the outline size to, let's say, 1. And you can see this is super bolder, and which is absolutely looking great. However, this background remover is available in the Pro plan of Canva, and Canva offers a 30 free day trial during which you are able to access all of the Pro plan features for absolutely free. If you look at this image, it is not symmetrical, just like what some customers complained about. So the upper part is not the same as the lower part. Even though we have some symmetric images, but many of it are not symmetrical, which also curbs that particular complaint from customers. So we've left a line, and we're going to go back to the next line. We're going to add another of our image. So we can add this here. We're going to make it super bold so we can zoom it out all the way here. And again, you can see this image is not symmetric. And just like we're able to thicken the other one, we're going to do the same for this one. We're going to leave a blank page, go to the next one, and add another of our image. We can add this, and we're going to go ahead and zoom it out. You want to also do the same thing to make it bolder. And just as we've done for this, we're going to go over and do for all of the other of the pages. To save time, I'm going to also go off the camera to complete this. And once I am done, we're going to come back and go into the next step. So now we have finished creating all of our patterns, and this is looking really nice. You want to ensure that you put in enough effort when you are creating your coloring book, because this is exactly what people are going to be buying, and you want to ensure that you are delivering as much quality as possible. So now that we're done with our coloring book, we want to go back to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give us 10 title ideas for our coloring book. And ChatGPT has gone ahead to give us that. I'm simply going to be going with pattern escape. And with this, we're going to go back, and we have simply used this to create our copyright page, which is exactly behind the name page. So now that all that is said and done and all of our images are all set, we want to go click on share. We want to click on download. We want to go ahead, click on PDF print, flatten PDF, and we're going to choose CMYK and download it. So now the next step we are going to do is start creating our cover page. To do this, we're going to simply head over to Amazon KDP cover calculator, and we're going to input our book information. Our binding type is paperback, our interior type is black and white, our paper type is white paper, our reading direction is left to right, our measurement unit is in inches, and our interior trim size is 8.5 by 11 inches. Our page count is 100 pages, and we're going to click calculate dimension. Amazon KDP has gone ahead to give us all the dimensions we need to create our cover page. We're going to go ahead, download the templates. Now we're going to copy the width here, and we're going to head over to Canva and create a new custom size page. Ensure it's in inches and change the width to this and create a new design. We're going to then add the downloaded templates into our design. We want to ensure that we zoom it to fill the design. It should be a perfect fit because we use the exact dimension that Amazon KDP gave us. So now we want to create our cover page, and we're going to be doing this also with AI. Again, we're going to head over to ChatGPT and we're going to say, now I want to create the cover page with AI. I want the cover page to be a colorful, asymmetrically mandala pattern with bold outlines. Give me a prompt to feed into AI in order to be able to create this. Now, ChatGPT has going to give us an AI prompt that we will use. We're going to copy this, and we're going to head back to Canva, and we're going to go to Magic Media. When we click on Magic Media, you can see describe what you would like to create. We're going to then paste what ChatGPT has given us. Before we click on generate, we want to go to the square and change it to portrait because our book dimension is in portrait form. We're also going to go to the styles. So these are reference images here. And if we should scroll down, we want something that will give us a coloring book cover kind of vibe. And we're going to go with this one here, because if you look at this particular one we're trying to imitate, you can see how bold, you can see the popping color, which looks really closely to this. So we're going to choose it and we're going to generate images. And this Magic Media has gone ahead to generate images for us. We can scroll and see whichever we like and use. If you're not okay with the images, you may want to tweak the prompt a little bit or ask ChatGPT to give you an entirely different prompt based on what you want. I'm just going to be going with this particular one here. I will bring it here and make it centralized as possible. Again, I will duplicate it and bring it also here to make it centralized as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this to the back as well as this to the back. And this particular template, we are going to reduce the transparency. We're doing this because we want to still be able to see these pink lines around. These pink lines are super important just to be able to give us a clear understanding on where our text or important information should not extend to. And also so that we do not put any important information where the barcode is to appear. So now we're going to start designing. First, we can just take a simple element here, a square box, and we can put it somewhere up here. We can make it color white, and we can now write our text, which is pattern escape. We can change the font to give it a much more unique feel. So we have this here. We can also add another text again and say adult coloring book. We can as well change the font. If you want to write your name here, you can go ahead and do that. However, I'm just going to leave it more in the middle here. We can also click on the box. We can add some border, just a little bit. And we can also add some corner rounding just to give it some unique look. Typically, I always suggest that you add some coloring images at the back, just so that potential customers can have an idea on what they are buying. So we can go here, and what we can do is we click on share, we click on download, and this time we download as PNG, and instead we're just going to go ahead and select a few pages. We click on done and we go ahead and download that. Now we're going to go back and upload those files we've downloaded. Then we're going to start adding this to our coloring book cover. So we're going to add again down, and we're going to add the last one here as well. We're also going to move it down. Now what we can do is we can ensure that all of this have equal spacing. So we move them to somewhere in the center here where they can be really bold. Again, we are just going to do the same thing for these ones and make them as bold as the other one and move them over here. So this looks actually good. And what we can do is we can then go ahead and add our pen name, CFI Designs. We can as well change the fonts, and we can add some effects of having a background. We can make the background actually white. So this is quite okay. And once all that is said and done, you want to take a look at your cover. Also, you want to put in super effort in creating your cover, because the first thing that will attract your potential customers is the cover of your coloring book. So again, we're going to go ahead and take out the templates. Again, you can see that the mandala on the cover looks a bit dull, and we went to filters. We can go to warm and add this here. You can also do it for the next one, and you can see that this really brings out the cool color and makes it really stand out. What we want to do is want to share. We want to click on download. We want to click on PDF print and CMYK flatten PDF and download it. Now, by the way, if you are getting a lot of value from this particular tutorial, make sure to smash the like button. Do well to also subscribe and turn on the notification bell icon, so when next I drop another helpful video, like I always do, you will be the first to see it. Now, the next step obviously is you want to then upload your book on Amazon KDP. You want to create your book and you want to create paperback. And now you are going to set the language. You want to set your book title. Our book title is Pattern Escape, Easy and Relaxing Design for Stress Relief. We're just going to go ahead, add that there. Now, one very important thing is the description. Now, remember that I told you that one way to stand out is to see what were the complaints or what more did customers want, what was their expectations that were not met. And if you notice, a lot of persons were complaining about the paper, the pages are thin and bleed through. And I already told you that as an independent publisher on Amazon KDP, there is no really setting for you to decide what print paper you will use, because Amazon literally does the printing and the shipping to the customers. However, one thing that you can do is you can include something like this. If using markers, remember to place a protective sheet behind the pages you are coloring to prevent bleed through. Now, this will actually enable the customers to have an idea that the papers are actually thin, such that the complaint is much more lesser, because they are aware upfront and they still choose to buy it regardless. So you want to ensure you add that in your description, as well as every other detail that your book contains. And what you want to do is you want to upload it on Amazon KDP and also fix your pricing. And just like that, we have been able to leverage this particular niche. We create it because it's already working, and we also added our own spin to it. Now, do note that selling books on Amazon KDP is not a get-rich-quick scheme. There are also a tons of books out there that are competing to be seen by customers, and most times, many of these books tend to run sponsored adverts on Amazon. However, I'm going to be sharing some tips that you can use in order for you to stand out and be able to maximize your earning as a complete beginner. Now, the first thing is to niche down further. Streamlining and narrowing it down to a specific mandala niche, you get to target specific people who are searching for those specific things, and you have a larger chance of being seen. Also, you want to use strategic keywords. Keywords play a very huge role in the ranking of your books, and that would help you with better SEO optimization. Also, you want to publish multiple books, because the more books you publish, the more chances you have of people discovering you. And also, you may want to promote it with sponsored ads just to get it seen by more people if you have a budget, or you can do a natural promotion by sharing it on social media platforms like Pinterest. Now, do note that this is just a niche of coloring books that are currently doing well. There are as well other coloring books that are also doing well that you may want to also leverage. And one very common one is the cozy kind of coloring books, which one typical example is the Coco Wayo star. And I've also created a video on how you can be able to recreate this, but adding your own spin to it. And if that interests you, you want to click the video you see on your screen right now and go check that out. Ciao.